upon a time, I had somebody that I cared about. And in this world, that sort of shit's good for one thing. Getting you killed.
I need something smuggled out of the city.
It's just cargo, Joel.
I just want some simple gear, enough to set me on my way.
I reckon it's got something to do with that girl.
It's got everything to do with that little girl.
Okay, I'm incredibly happy to be standing here alongside the guys from Naughty Dog who have finally put that last full stop at the end of Last of Us. The reviews have come out. Are you guys fairly happy with the feedback?
Beyond our wildest dreams. It's one of those like very humbling, you know, no expectations. This is far and beyond what we imagine. It's really surreal.
Okay, well, I just want to sort of touch upon the game. I mean, we finished it and everything like that. What can I just sort of talk about the arc, about the idea of doing that over the course of a year, multiple seasons and multiple viewpoints? I mean, was that a structure you guys always had in mind to show the character's arc and really show the difference that these two characters have made to each other?
Yeah, and obviously we're getting into spoiler territory, but that was always from the get-go, is we knew the arcs of Joel and Ellie. We knew we wanted to tell a story where these two characters are going to change each other over the course of the entire game, where Ellie's going to pull more of the humanity out of Joel. Joel, in turn, is going to turn Ellie into more of an independent survivor. And we knew we were going to have that point where the characters flip, and Ellie would become the protector, both in story and in gameplay. And that was always the goal with everything. And what's interesting is, like, we even had a very specific idea for the ending, but during the course of production, that changed and became something very different because of how the characters shaped themselves over the course of making the game.
And aesthetically also, like, we color script out the game, so along with what Neil's talking about with the arcs and the different shifts that we're seeing in the characters and the relationship, you know, we wanted to look at each one of these, like, we're creating an adventure, we're creating like a journey, and we want to see, you know, what's around the next corner, and we want the player and ourselves to be sort of enticed by like the visuals and the graphics of you know, these different environments that you move through. But a lot of this is based on where the relationship is, like whether it's sunset and it's like the beginning of the relationship. It's a tilted building and raining and things are a bit tumultuous, or when you get into you know, what in winter, you know, like it's a kind of dark period, so things needed to go a little bit more down, and we needed to suck sort of, you know, the color and the light out of that. So it's on both levels. Everything we're trying to do is in accordance with that, with music and environment and everything.
With that cut to winter, it's obviously you almost leave it on a cliffhanger with the situation that happens just before that winter switch. And you do just leave the player hanging for so long because you just don't know what's happened. I mean, was that a part of let's build up this relationship, this core experience, and then completely flip around not only who you're controlling, but what has actually happened to the other character?
We actually had a lot of discussions about that, and we would argue about it, about whether, you know, we should reveal it or not reveal it, and or whether people would be into Ellie enough that they would kind of keep going with the adventure, not knowing what happened to Joel. But ultimately, you know, we felt like respecting our audience and letting them kind of lingering with a bunch of questions that we don't always answer the questions felt like a more interesting approach to take, so that when Ellie drops the line and she asks for medicine, you know, at that point, you know, without us having to show you and tell you, all it took was that one line.
Yeah, it wasn't about like lots of exposition. It was about just trying to, again, pull everything out so that you could sort of feel that sense of like, okay, the surprise, like that moment. It takes a long time to even reveal that there's Ellie. Okay, so now, I'm playing as Ellie, and then kind of letting that all soak in, and at the same time, just it is funny because Neil and I had a lot of back and forth about like, when should we reveal it, when shouldn't we reveal it, how do we reveal it, and it was a real struggle, and I think we found a really nice balance there.
Yeah, I mean, we brainstormed a lot of like, how we should show how Ellie got Joel on the horse and how she tied him to the horse, how she got to the cabin. We talked about doing a montage that would show all these things, and then at the end, like, you don't need it. Like, you can just fill all that stuff in that's not important for the story. We just need to cut forward and just show Ellie alone and get to the part with David, which will tell us more about Ellie and who she's become.
The player is smart enough to figure it out, and that's really what we're banking on.
Well, that was the thing about David, about that whole arc. I mean, when you meet him initially, and certainly for the longest duration when you're getting to know him, you do start questioning, have I been doing something wrong here? Because you get that parallel of, these are the people that in a part we've been killing over the course of the game. And I thought it was interesting where the initial start of the game, you're straight into that, do or die sort of situation. But was that a point where you guys wanted to, let's slow this down, let the players sort of soak in exactly what they've been doing for the past 10 hours or so?
I mean, it's a game of contrast. I mean, in every which way, from the environments to Joel and Ellie to even the different sort of factions that you run into. And we really want to play with this idea of who are friends, who are foes, and you are, like Neil said earlier, attached to Ellie, and you know her to be capable from one standpoint, Joel's perspective, and now you want to see, when you get boosted by David, inside of the mine shaft, you've been doing this the whole time, and then all of a sudden it's flipped, and there's just something in your brain just kind of clicks, and you're just oh, this is what Ellie's been feeling this whole time, and it puts me into a different perspective that I've never seen before, and I don't know, it opens up feelings for her.
Well, it's something really unique to games that's kind of hard to articulate, but you were using perspective to create empathy. And throughout the whole game, you are Joel, and every action you take is Joel. And all of a sudden, and you're viewing Ellie from the outside, and all of a sudden, you are Ellie. And now every action you take in is all those actions I've seen her do before. Now I have this different perspective, and I have a better understanding of her that's really unique to our medium. You couldn't do this in a film or a book or a TV show. It's only can be done in games.
The choice, that last choice Joel makes. Were you guys internally arguing about this, or did this seem like pretty much clear cut? This is the way this needs to go.
Wait, which choice?
About saving Ellie.
Oh, we had arguments about after the fact about whether we should have done this as a choice or not. But the way we feel about it is at that point Joel is in such a state. What he experiences in the beginning of the game is a fate worse than death. He's been in hell, and for him to go for that a second time, he's willing to go to any lengths to not do that. That I think he doesn't have a choice. He really is at a point where there's no choice for him. That's what and it's kind of reflected with what Marlene says as well. Right, for Marlene, it's she's been fighting her whole life to save humanity, and she says to Joel, there is no other choice. Despite how much she loves Ellie and how the vow she made to her mom to take care of her, there is no other choice for her. If it comes to saving humanity, this is the choice she has to take. And again, it goes to what we're trying to do the whole game. It's not a bad character versus a good character. It's just character with different perspectives that their two ends can't meet together, and someone's gotta win, someone's gonna lose.
And it's Joel's choice. Mm-hmm. And we understand, we put a lot of effort into building up that relationship, and hopefully you can understand or empathize with what Joel's gone through in that relationship that he had, that bond that is now created. So, and whether you agree with it or disagree with it, hopefully you at least understand Joel as a character, and then you can go okay, this is the farthest somebody will go for their love,
That's what that last section, Joel's whole tone and character completely changed. It's an uplift, really. But he's telling a lie, because what he tells Ellie at the end. How did you guys sort of contrast that? Were you sort of thinking the fact is that for him, there was a clear choice. There's no sort of contention, and he was happy enough to lie to her, even though because it meant that she was alive and she would stay with him.
It's hard to answer something like this because it is kind of open to interpretation. It's almost like, you write this stuff kind of vague so the actors themselves can internalize it, and they're making their own choice as well. There's a moment where Joel pauses when he's talking to Marlene. Is that hesitation, or is that just him planning what he's going to do next? And I can't tell you definitively it's this or this. It's how did it make you feel? How did you feel when you played it? And the thing we love is we talk to different people about the ending and about that last line and what it means. And we've heard people emphatically say it means this, and we've heard different interpretations of what this means, and so we don't want to come out and say this is what we intend, or this is definitely the answer, because it is open.
Yeah, in playtest, actually, people would actually, we have some testers that finish in sort of the same time frame, sit next to each other, and we ask general questions, so trying to tune difficulty, etc. And then they would start arguing next to each other about what is the ending mean, and what they would do, and what Joel Joel would do this. That was that's where we kind of knew it's fun, in that way of just it's creating dialogue, it's creating interest, and people are invested in it, and that's that's the most we could ask for, honestly.
And we could tell that it's they're putting themselves in that situation and asking, what would I do? And it's not a clear-cut answer, what would you do? Because how far would you be willing to sacrifice humanity, sacrifice all these things for someone you really love? And is he selfish? Is he not? It's all a different perspective.
And just wrapping up, one final question then. Is there an Easter egg for your next game in this game?
Is there No, I don't. I don't think, unless somebody put one in that we don't know about.
The funny thing is, somebody asked us to put one in, and I'm actually not sure at this point whether it's in or not.
Good luck.
There will be people coming that game seeing whether there is anything. Well, guys, listen, thank you so much indeed for talking to us. Love the game. We're looking forward to playing again, actually.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, we need to lighten the mood. Ready? It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
What is that?
It's a joke book. No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
Let's keep going.
What did the Confederate soldiers use to eat off of? Silverware.
Uh-huh.
What did they use to drink with? Cups. Dixie cups. I walked into my sister's room and tripped on a bra. It was a booby trap. A book just fell on my head. I only have myself to blame. Or wait, I said it wrong. Hold on, let me read it again. A book just fell on my head. I only have my shelf to blame. I ruined it. What is the leading cause of divorce in long-term marriages? A stalemate.
That's awful.
You're awful.
Do you even understand what that means?
Nope. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm all joked out. Now what?